The college basketball experience, Sunbelt, Funbelt, baby, edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you use our sign-up code TCESGPN. And welcome everybody into the college basketball experience, the Sunbelt, aka the Funbelt season preview. I love this league. This is a fun league. I know regionality is kind of all over the place now, but a lot of history, a lot of good coaches, a lot of good programs overall in this Funbelt. We've seen teams win bye games, win games in the NCAA tournament. Last year, the Troy Trojans got it done, cutting down the nets. Coach Cross down there. So we'll talk about it. We'll recap last year, and we will touch on 1 through 14. There are 14 teams in this league. So we'll break down each and every one of them, give out our winners in the regular season, postseason, sleeper, bus, all that good stuff. But if you want to hear you listen to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac tonight over here at the College Experience. Got a little pep in my step, man. Got a big night ahead. We got MLB playoffs. We got college football. There's even an NFL game on that stupid Amazon Prime. It's Thursday. Let's go, everybody. Cheers to the weekend. Ready to talk. He's got a big MLB game tomorrow, Game 5. Do or die out there in the great Northwest. He is from the great state of Detroit, so he's in a good mood today. He is a LeBaron driving, cocktail napkin having. He is Noah Bienick. What up, Bienick?
If only Detroit was a state, but the great state of Michigan is also a great place.
Great
state of Detroit.
Whatever.
But yeah, man, Sunbelt, honestly, the fan bases in this conference are so passionate. That's what makes covering this conference and this league so fun. Last year, they introduced a new conference tournament, which was quite an experience because it kind of revealed a flaw of my favorite tournament format for a conference tournament with all the buys. If you have ties, specifically possibly ties, multiple ties for first place, it can be quite difficult to figure out who's going to get the bye to the semifinal game and who's just going to get the bye to the quarterfinal game. Because last year we had 4 teams tied at 13-5 with a regular season title. I remember there was 4 different graphics from the teams announcing that they had won a championship last year. And basically 3 of them, I can't remember which one outside of this, but 3 of them just said championship, and one of the graphics said shared championship, and everybody was like, that should be your 1 seed right there to that team. But it was Arkansas State, Troy, South Alabama, and James Madison that finished in that shared tie for regular season championship. I picked James Madison the regular season last year to be the conference winner in Preston Spradlin's first season. So they got me a share, and also Mac picked Troy. So we both drilled 2 of the 4 teams that won the regular season. Troy swept, in quotation marks there, swept the conference titles as they win the conference tournament title. However, Mac picked App State, and I went even worse, further down the standings here, and I went with Louisiana. So that was tough. Sleeper. You went with Old Dominion. Might have been just a year early. We'll talk about the Monarchs during this episode.
8-10. Not great, but
yeah. Okay. You said in the episode top half finish, and they did not. So
one game back.
that one was, and then I had Marshall, who was a game out of a regular season championship last year in the Sun Belt preseason poll. They were picked 10th by the media. I actually drilled their position, saying they would finish 5th. Then when we talk about bust or disappointment, we were judging off the media poll. So he said, hey, any team that finishes 3 spots below, Texas State was picked 7th. I said they'll finish lower than that, and they did not. They actually finished dead in 7th.
Yeah.
And Mac, my friend, you said slam dunk, no doubt about it. Southern Miss was low-hanging fruit. They were picked 6th in the media poll. They finished 12th. You said they were finishing 11th. So shout out to you, my friend.
Hey, and I want it to be known that I was shitting on you the entire season about this postseason format because I said this is going to finish in a 4-way tie and there should be not double, triple, quadruple buys when these teams are all even. And what do we have? Quadruple tie for first place.
But it worked because this league is always never chalk. It's never chalk. The top teams do not represent the Sun Belt. So I was happy that one of those 4 teams that had split a conference title was representing the league. So that's what you want with one of these tournament formats at the end of the day.
And correct me if I'm wrong. South Alabama was 1 and JMU was 2, I think. Yeah, because I know Arch State
was in a quarter. They weren't in the semifinal.
And so was Arch State. And that was our championship game. So, yeah, the 1 and 2s ended up losing. Hilarious.
Yeah.
That's what they get for having a phony bye. Shout out to Troy and Arch State for winning that extra game and getting to the finals. Anything else you want to add before we start knocking out 14 teams here?
Yeah, let's talk about it. A lot changing in this league, and it just seems like that's the new norm for Sun Belt basketball. You've got coaches leaving and getting fired left and right. Ryan Pannone jumps into Arkansas State. We have Quanus White at Louisiana. We have Phil Cunningham at UL Monroe. And I think there was 4, right? We've got, just 3. 3 new coaches in this league. And nobody returns more than 50% of their minutes from a season ago. Only 1 team returns more than 40% of their minutes, and that is Old Dominion. So when we're previewing the teams and I'm reading through the rosters, if I don't say their name, just assume that they're gone because we're not going through all the departures today.
So what you're saying is the Fun Belt's going to be a shit show once again. Shocker. Let's go, baby. That's why we call it the Fun Belt. And, I mean, there's great Fun Belt football on tonight, too. So get on over there and check out our SGPN pick show. The NHL is also back. I've talked about how great a night it is in sports. NHL is part of that. It's back, so check out the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Join Ryan and Joel as they break down the biggest games, storylines, awards, and bets throughout the season. Let it slide, baby. I like that. That's catchy.
Joel. I think Joel is.
No, sorry.
Joel Meyer. He dips in on the picks page every once in a while on the basketball streets. So yeah, he's a good dude.
Well, sorry, Joel, for calling you Joel, but you're Joel now to me. Let's go. All right, let's go. YouTube.com/the college experience for the slideshow.
Slideshow. Let it slide.
Yeah, former guest of the program, Dustin Kerns, headed into year number 7 down there in Boone. Doing a good job, man. Doing a really good job with this program. He did a great job at Presbyterian the 2 years prior to that. He is a Mike Young guy. He was at Wofford for 5 years. I believe he graduated from Clemson. So he's right at home in the Carolinas, Tennessee area. Right there in Boone's a good spot for him, I think. 110 and 77 in his years at App, 141 and 113 overall. He is 66 and 43 in Sunbelt play. You could see that they had the magical year 2 years ago when they won the league regular season before being picked off in the tournament. They were 16 and 2 that year, 27 and 7 overall. He has not had a losing season in Boone. They've been really consistent. He's done a good job. Noah, what's your thoughts on this roster under a proven winning coach here?
Yeah, Appalachian State has had a top 5 defense in the Sun Belt in 4 straight seasons under coach Dustin Kerns, and 2 straight defenses that have finished top 80 in rating on KenPom nationally. So this is year after year a very good defensive foundation. You know what you're getting. And also, I forgot to mention in this league, a lot of experienced rosters, like a lot of upperclassmen expected to play big minutes, and I like that. And you see that on this roster as well. 2 returners that are gonna, or 4 returners that are gonna play in this rotation. I assume Alonzo Dodd is the big one. He's a 6'1" senior guard who played 24 and a half minutes a season ago, averaged 2.5 assists, shot at 39.5% from the floor, and then Luke Wilson, a 6'9" junior, is a potentially starting forward for this team. He only played 12 minutes a season ago, but shot at 60.5% from the floor. And then you've got 2 guys that are played as freshmen last year a little bit. Jason Clark Jr., a 6-foot guard, and Michael Marcus Jr., 6'9" forward, who only played 10 minutes a season ago. But let's talk about the incomers, because quite a few newcomers I think could play some pretty big roles on this team. You have a graduate senior guard, Kason Jennings, incoming from South Florida. He played 24 and a half minutes ago, a season ago during his senior year. He enters his 5th year. He's a 6'3" guard, averaged 7 points per game, shot the 3 ball 32% on 3.5 attempts per game. And you have Aaron Banks, a 6'4" junior guard who played 29 minutes a season, 29 minutes a game a season ago with Georgia Southern in conference transfer, shot at 39.5% from 3 and 46% from the floor on a lot of volume. I think he's going to be a pretty good piece for this App State offense. You have Chad Moody, a 6'8" junior forward who played 28 minutes a season ago for Alabama A&M, averaged 11 and 6 with 1.5 assists out of the front court, almost 2 blocks a game. And then Jalen Top, a D2 transfer from Montana State Billings. He played 34 and a half minutes a season ago, averaged 16, 4.5, 3, over 1.5 steals per game as well. He can step out and shoot as a 6'1" guard, a really nice depth piece, along with a Moberly junior college transfer, KJ Vassar, another 6'1" guard. I like this team quite a bit. I think there's pretty good potential with the Mountaineers to have a top half finish once again under Dustin Kerns, man.
Cosign. They kind of are in the middle of the pack in terms of returning production, experience, but they don't have a middle of the pack coach. So I think he has a way. Last year was supposed to be a rebuilding year. They lost everybody from that 27-win team, and he still went 17-13, had a winning record in conference play. They took their lumps in the non-con like we thought they would, but Kerns does what he does. He had that team playing well in January and especially February. So they have an identity. They're going to defend. They're going to run good offense like they did at Wofford for all those years. I think this is a top half team again. I don't know if they're not as good as a 27-win team. That would be a lot to ask. I mean, that team beat fucking Auburn that year at home. So that was a really good team. Yeah. I think they're somewhere in the middle between that special year and then last year. I'm thinking a 20-21 win season here for Kerns and the Mountaineers here.
Yeah, if I were to poke one hole in this roster, I don't know if it's got enough front court depth. So we'll see how it plays out for the Mountaineers.
All right, let's go over now to one of those first-year head coaches that you talked about. Ryan Pannone coming over, a Nate Oates guy, replacing a Nate Oates guy. He replaced Hodgson. Now, Pannone here, he was at Alabama the last 3 years. He was in the NBA before that, and then he had some overseas spots here. Although it's a new coaching staff, I kind of think the identity is going to be similar to what Ark State has been. A lot of 3-and-D guys and a lot of high volume here in Jonesboro. I like the hire. I think they're going to continue as the continuity as much as they can, going from a Nate Oates guy to a Nate Oates guy. What's your thoughts on this roster?
Yeah, I will say that's probably the identity. They didn't bring in a lot of guys that necessarily have shot it well from deep before, so we'll get into that roster in a little bit. But Pannone specializes in player development, and who knows, maybe some of these guys have some tools that he thinks could possibly turn into good 3-point shooters, but we just haven't seen that yet from a lot of these guys' careers. And he's, like you mentioned, well-traveled around the basketball globe. And I don't know if he necessarily hit it hard this year, but there could be potential for Euros at Arkansas State in the future. Who knows? But
They're
TJ
super old
Caldwell,
too. They're super
sorry?
old. I said they're super old too.
Yeah. TJ Caldwell is an interesting get. He didn't play last year at Ole Miss, but this is a guy that they're expecting to be their point guard. So that's a pretty kind of like a wait and see for me. Is he really didn't play a whole lot 2 seasons ago under Chris Beard, but he has some positional size. He's a 6'4" junior guard. Matt Heyman is a Stephen F. Austin transfer. He's a 6'5" graduate senior guard. This is probably their best scorer. He took over 5.5 3-pointers attempted a game last year, shot at a 37% clip, averaged 14, 4, and 2.5 assists per game. And he's pretty scrappy on on defense as well, with over 1.5 assists per game. Chandler Jackson is a 6'5" senior wing, and this is one of them that, like, I don't know if we're fitting that 3-and-D with the length on the wing here, but he didn't shoot a whole lot last year. Only at 15.5% clip, 1.5 3-pointers attempted per game. And Jalen Hampton's the other 6'7" senior wing, played 22.5 minutes a season ago, averaged 7.5 and 6 at Missouri State. He also didn't really shoot the 3 ball a ton last year either. They do have a 7-footer on the roster from Lindenwood, Ali Tunkara, but he only played 15 minutes a season ago per game during his freshman season in the Ohio Valley Conference. Now you're taking a step up and maybe possibly expanding in role. We'll see how that plays out as well for the Red Wolves here. And then they have quite a few depth guys, specifically young guards, whether they're freshmen or JUCO transfers or freshmen that didn't play a whole lot last year. Christian Harmon comes in from Gulf Coast State. This kid was ranked 46th on JUCOrecruiting.com, averaged 17, 5, and 3. That's probably the biggest name on the bench here. Chudy Diorama is a Sacramento State transfer, played 13 minutes a game a season ago. Joey Chama played at San Diego a season ago, averaged 15.5 minutes a season ago per game. And then Freddie Salam Salah played at Eastern Florida State College last year. So the depth is young. A couple of JUCO gets in there, a couple of guys that only played a few minutes a season ago, their freshman season. But overall, I think this is another team that I want to believe that it's going to be a 3-and-D Alabama type identity, but I don't know if they've got the pieces for it. So Arkansas State, I think I have them taking a sizable step back. I don't have them competing for a conference title this year. I have them more in the middle of the pack.
I don't think their roster's as good as it was last year and then the year before. Hodgson, I thought he did a good job of just getting players in there and guys from the high major level. I know they have a couple high major guys, Florida State, Ole Miss, and company, but I think I'm with you. A little bit of a step back here. I don't know if the roster's as good as it's been, but I'm interested to see Pannone here if he can elevate this program for what Hodgson left it off, because he's taken over a good situation and they got some momentum and they got some excitement and money down there in Jonesboro.
They have some momentum, they have some money, but the cupboard was a little bare when Hodgson left. So this is a brand new roster, and he's kind of building it from scratch just like Hodgson did. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. I got them top half. I think they're going to be in the top half. I still think they have enough dudes to be in the top half. Let's go over to Coastal. Let's go over to the beach, baby. Justin Gray, 61 and 69. Last year, disappointing year, but that was a rebuilding year. That was year one at Coastal. He took over a shitty situation.
Yeah.
He did a great job at Western Carolina. Back-to-back top 4 finishes in that SoCon. Yeah, that same SoCon where Furman won a game in the dance. Sanford almost won a game in the dance. We know the track record with East Tennessee State. Wofford. You go down the list, man. They got so many good programs, and he was able to crack the top 4 back-to-back years in the SoCon. Did the same thing. Year 1 at Western Carolina, 11-21. This one, and then he jumped up to 18 wins and 22 wins. Can they take a jump here, Noah, in a much more – I don't know if this is a more difficult league, but this is a hard job, just like Western Carolina, Coastal.
Yeah, it is. For Justin Gray, to me, at Western Carolina, he didn't. His teams didn't rate out greatest. Their offense always finished in the bottom of the SoCon ratings wise.
They grinded.
Defense,
yeah.
Sorry,
they grinded.
Defensively, that is where the teams shined. They finished first and second in his final 2 years. And the SoCon's a very good offensive mid-major league. So that's where it's like you were talking about, they just kind of grinded, churned out wins. And they did also have a star that final year, and his name's slipping my brain for a second here. It was like Wool something. Gosh, I don't know why I even brought it up or blanked on it for Vontarius Woolbright. So he was an absolute star his final year at Western Carolina, and kind of lifted up that team, in my opinion. So we'll see what we have in Justin Gray at Coastal Carolina. Year 1 with the Chanticleers, their defense finished rock bottom in the Sun Belt, and that was their identity with the Catamounts. So I have some hesitation buying in to the Coastal Carolina team this year. Let's talk about the roster. They return just one starter, Rashid Jones. He played 31 minutes a season ago, averaged 11.5, 4, and 2, shot at 34% from deep on 6 attempts per game. A couple other returners on this team are Andre Mulabe, 6'6", redshirt senior. 4, he played 17 minutes a season ago. Shot at 37% from deep on 2.5 attempts per game. And then the expected starting big man is Braden McViker. He's a 6'11 junior forward, played 19.5 minutes a season ago for the Chants, averaged 6 and 4. And then Connor Martin returns, Charles Dunlap returns. Newcomers from the portal. Joshua Beadle started his career at Clemson, played 2 or 3 seasons for them. And then at Boston College, played only 18 minutes, was more of a rotational piece. He's not shown a ton because he hasn't had a whole lot of burn in his college career. But last year was really efficient shooting the ball in the limited time, so we'll see what he can give the Chanticleers offensively this year. AJ Dantzler's the interesting piece for me. He took 5.5 3-pointers a game last year at Lemoyne and hit him at a 40.5% clip. He's going to take a step up in conference this season. He averaged 15 and 4 with 3.5 assists a game last year. I think this could be a really important piece for Coastal Carolina. If this clicks, maybe they unlock something on that offense. Jerry Gopat, no way I pronounced that right, I don't think. He's a 6'11 grad senior, played at UL Monroe last year, only 19 minutes a game. He's going to probably split 50-50 with Braden McViker. And then you've got other depth pieces in that front court. Reggie Hill, a grad senior, 6'7", D2 transfer from Midwestern State. And Nadrick Pete, D2 transfer from Hawaii Hilo, who is a graduate senior, 6'10" as well. I think I already said that. But final couple of guards in this backcourt. DeJohn Gregg is a 6'1 junior. Didn't play a whole lot last year for Oregon State. And then Tristan Thompson, a freshman that I've heard some good things about, but we'll see what happens. And Derek Green is a JUCO transfer from Brunswick. Averaged 11 and 7.5 his freshman year there. He's a 6'9 forward. Pretty interesting. But overall, I think this is a bottom half team. I have a little bit of hesitation buying into Gray. I have a little bit of hesitation on this backcourt specifically. Chanticleers, I would love to see them be better, but I'm pumping the brakes a little bit this season.
I got him in the middle. I'm going to trust Gray to get the same trajectory of what he had at Western Carolina. And they're, second in returning minutes, returning production in this league, but behind Old Dominion. So, how many starters back? 3?
1.
But all right, but they're probably going to start 3 guys that have been in the program. So
yeah,
man, I kind of want to buy into this team. I think last year was the identity year. Where I think it took them a year. They weren't as good defensively as they were, but I think they take a big step from what they were last year, which wasn't very good because all his teams at Western Carolina were good defensively. So I'll say middle of the pack because I trust Gray, and I think he's a pretty good coach down there in Conway. All right, let's hit that real quick because over here at the College Experience, we are brought to you by MyBookie. MyBookie.ag is a place to bet on college hoops and every college football. Everything else, their prop builders second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head over to MyBookie.ag. Use our promo code TCESPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500. For new customers, that's MyBookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by NoVig. NoVig is America's #1 sports prediction market. You're getting the best prices over there. They got -103 on a bunch of these college football and NFL games tonight. NoVig is available in 35-plus states. Download the NoVig app and get $50 off when you spend if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action. NoVig, promo code SGPN. We carry on the College Experience, and we go to Georgia Southern, year number 3 of Charlie Henry, another former Nate Oates assistant. They got all the former Nate Oates guys here in this league. Charlie Henry, also a Fred Hoiberg guy, so really good offensive mind. They've been consistent, man. 7th or 8th back-to-back years, 8-10 in league play. If you remember, in year 1, they were 1-13 headed into, or 1-12 headed into conference play, and then they were a pain in the ass. He got his identity in or he got his culture in that first couple months there in 23, 24, and they've been a solid program since. So, what do you think of year 3 with Charlie Henry?
Yeah, like you mentioned, just working in the identity. Under Coach Charlie Henry, the Eagles want to fly. In both of Henry's seasons, the team has had a top 100 tempo in the country. 2 seasons ago, Southern's offense was top 5 in the Sun Belt. However, the defense was the worst in the conference. Last season, the offense and defense finished closer to the mean of the league. And play fast, shoot some threes offensively. And then I think they defensively just want to try to stay afloat because not quite sure if they've got a ton of defensive pieces this year, but they've got a lot of guys that can shoot the ball. Nakavian White played 22 minutes a season ago. He's the one big returner that they have. He's a 6'7" redshirt senior forward. He averaged 10.5 points per game, 3.5 boards, 2.5 assists, shot at 41% from the floor, 33% from 3 on 3.5 attempts per game. And the transfer portal class is a little bit all over the place. You have Tyrod Moore, who started his career at Georgia Southern, now comes back with the new coach of Henry. He was previously at UAB. He shot the 3 ball 39% on 4 attempts per game and only 17 minutes per game. He's a 5'11" grad senior guard who, man, if that role is expanded and he's able to shoot just as well as he did last year, he could be a pretty good piece for this team. Alden Applewhite is a Murray State transfer, a 6'7" redshirt senior wing who shot 38% from deep on 2 attempts per game for the Racers last year. Shannon Carter is the expected big man starting at the 5. He's a 6'9" senior, played 27.5 minutes a season ago, averaged 12.5, 5.5, and shot 51.5% from 3 at D2 Bluefield State. Sviat Sotairov, there's no way I pronounced that name correctly either. He was at Northern Illinois last year, and he's also probably going to split time with Carter at the 5. You have Spud Webb, an interesting guard here from D2 Emmanuel. He was a scorer last year in the Division II ranks, averaged 20.5 points per game, 6 boards, 5 assists, over a steal per game as well, and shot 55.5% from the floor, 39% from three. We'll see how well that translates into the Sun Belt here, and this is probably also their best defensive piece, in my opinion, which I don't know if this defense is going to be good once again. Kayri Dunn, a 6'1 guard, his freshman year at Southern Idaho last season, averaged 16.5 points, 3.5 boards, 3 assists. And then rounding out that bench in the transfer portal, Andres Burney, a 6'9 redshirt senior forward from NAI Georgetown College, and Dallas Gardner, a 6'3 junior guard who averaged 15.5 points per game at D2 North Carolina Pembroke. So with this team, Charlie Henry, I think the offense is going to be pretty dang good this year. They've got a lot of really good pieces surrounding a couple of project fives, I would describe it. And I think that Georgia Southern has a relatively positive season this year. I have them kind of just above the middle of the pack. And feisty in most games, but ultimately I think that they're going to have to score 80 points a game to win.
I think I like year 3 of Charlie Henry. Last 2 years, like I said, 8-10, 8-10 in Sun Belt play. I think they can get over 500 and get into that 10-8 clump here. I'm just looking at Torvik, by the way, just the projected records: 12-6 once again to win the league. Actually, it was 13-5 last year. I think outside of one team, he's got a pretty narrow margin, all between 7 and 12 league wins. So we're gonna have a lot of close games in the Sun Belt per usual. Charlie Henry and company, I think I'm with you. I think I got them in my top half here in year number 3. I like the trajectory of this program. All right, year 4 of the Jonas Hayes era, 42-57, 19-35 in his 3 years in league play, back-to-back 8-10 records, 7th and 8th place finishes. That was a nice step up from year 1, which was a rebuilding year where they went 3-15, 10-21 overall. What do we expect of Jonas Hayes and company? I don't have a great feel on this Georgia State team and Georgia State program under Hayes.
I think that both Georgias, the Georgia State and Georgia Southern, are pretty similar, whereas the offense has been pretty good under Jonas. These last 2 seasons, Georgia State has finished in the top half of the Sun Belt in offensive efficiency on KenPom. In 2025, the Panthers had the second best offense in the league, but the defense was rated 319th nationally, and that was the best D unit in Jonas's 3 seasons at Georgia State. So I have trouble like fully committing to this team finishing as possibly a contender, possibly a tough out every night and finishing in the top half of the conference. This is a team that I think has a very similar outcome to Georgia Southern, but a little bit more questionable of a roster for Georgia State here. The Panthers don't return a whole lot. They lose quite a bit from last year. The only returner from last season, Malachi Brown, a 6'1 junior guard, played 29.5 minutes a season ago, averaged 8 points per game, 3.5 boards, 3.5 assists, shot at 37% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. And Jelani Hamilton, a 6'6 redshirt sophomore, played 27 minutes a season ago, averaged 11 and 3.5 boards per game, shot at 33% from deep on 5 attempts per game. Trying to really piece this roster together with some development within the program. And if you're looking at a Trey Scott third, he redshirted last year, but they expect him to start at the 5. They also have Christian Beam, a 7-footer, who last year as a freshman played at Southern Union State, averaged 9 and 7.5 with over 2.5 blocks per game. Those 2 guys are going to be competing for big time minutes at the 5. Finishing out that front court are also a couple of transfers coming in. Joa Chappelle, 6'8" sophomore in his freshman year at Pearl River Junior College, which is a pretty good JUCO there. Averaged 16 points, 8 boards, 3 assists per game. And then they're also relying on Clash Peters, who was a freshman last year for this team, averaged just 13 and a half minutes a season ago. He's a 6'9" sophomore. So front court, young, inexperienced at this level. Not a whole lot returning in the backcourt, and they're relying on Ja'Kai Newton and Anthony Eno, a couple of transfers that didn't play a whole lot of D1 basketball season ago. Eno at D2 Jessup played 27 and a half minutes a game, and 27 and a half minutes a game, average 11 and 6.5 boards per game. And Ja'Kai Newton at Indiana barely got any run for the Hoosiers. A D2 transfer from Minnow State rounds out the portal class. Ayuba Bertha, a 6'5 senior guard who played 30 and a half minutes a season ago per game, shot the 3 ball 39% on 4.5 attempts per game. To me, I've got Georgia State in the middle, sort of the bottom of the standings and sort of preseason expectations, because they've got to show me something defensively. I think that Jonas Hayes tried to go out and acquire a couple of more guys with some defensive intangibles, but at the same time, it lacks a lot of proven production. So that's where I'm at with the Panthers.
I have this as a bottom half. There's a lot of question marks. I know Clark is talking about the high major transfers, but I think a lot of those guys are unproven. So, and I don't know where I'm at with Jonas Hayes as a coach. So year 4, I kind of think they're going to have a losing season once again here down there with these Georgia State Panthers. All right, next up on the dock. All right, JMU, man. JMU, great year 1 for Preston Spradlin. 20 wins again after he went, 26-9 at Moorhead. Year before that, he was 22-12. He won the OVC regular season title both times before getting the JMU job. He gets a share of the Sun Belt title last year, going 13-5 in that 4-way tie, 20-12 overall. You got to be pleased if you're JMU. I know Byington went over to Vanderbilt. Spradlin comes in. This program is just coach-proof now, is where I'm starting to get. Like, they have so
much. Is their
much
entire athletic department coach-proof?
Yes, because they have so much money down there, and they just keep investing with their facilities. That arena is beautiful, and they're just going to continue to grow this thing. So, yeah, I love the Spradlin hire. I thought it was a home run hire by JMU to continue the winning trajectory here. And, yeah, I mean, I'll have them right in the hunt again this year.
Yeah, in year 1 of Preston Spradlin, James Madison finished in a tie for first place in the conference, and the Dukes had a top 4 offense, top half defense, and all of that came with a preseason roster that looks a lot similar to this year's, just a lot of newcomers. The only returning starter from last year is Eddie Ricks III, a 6'7 junior wing who played 26 minutes a season ago, averaged 6.5 and 4.5. Wasn't a great 3-point shooter, but we'll see what happens with another year in this Spradlin system. The other returner is Justin Taylor, 6'6 senior wing, who played 10.5 minutes a season ago. A big piece, I think, for this team offensively coming in is Bradley Douglas, the 6'1 fifth-year guard incoming from Georgia Southern, who last year played 29 minutes a game in this conference, averaged 12.5, 4 boards, 2.5 assists, a steal and a half per game. He is a volume shooter, which didn't shoot it at a great clip last year. Hopefully with a little bit more offensive talent surrounding him, he won't feel like he has to do a lot of it himself. But at the same time, Georgia Southern was a pretty good offense. There were some pieces around him, and he did it. So he took 5.5 threes a game as the point guard at a 30.5% clip. I don't necessarily love that. But surrounding him, they have Justin McBride, a 6'7 junior forward from Nevada. He played 18.5 minutes a game a season ago, averaged 8 and 4 with the Wolfpack. Eli Wilborn, a 6'8 junior forward from Duquesne, who only played 13 minutes a game a season ago. My gosh, my English is off today.
Good.
But we'll see what happens when he steps into a bigger role this season. And then Paul Lewis didn't play a whole lot last year either, a 6'2 redshirt junior from UTSA. Ike Cormish is a Nichols transfer, only played 17 and a half minutes a game a season ago. He's going to be relied on for big minutes on this team. Cliff Davis, a 6'2 senior from UT Rio Grande. This is a piece that I expect to play pretty big minutes for the Dukes this season. Last year, he averaged 12 points, 4.5 boards, 2 assists, over his steal per game as well. But I think this is a guy that Douglas needs to find a little bit more often and be able to rely on offensively, because an 8.5 3-point attempts per game, he shot it at 37.5% clip. Ike Cornish in the same conference in the Southland took 7 threes per game, but only at a 31.5% clip. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of iron out some roles off the ball here at James Madison. But I have some trust in Preston Spradlin that this team isn't going to take a massive or a sizable step back. I do think that they're not necessarily a favorite to win the title this season, but I have James Madison finishing in the top half of the Sun Belt Conference this year.
How can you not have this program in the top 4? I mean, at this point with JMU, like I'll be shocked, or I won't be shocked. I mean, like I said, the margins are small in this league. First place and like 6th place will be separated by 1 game, but I'm banking on Spradlin. He's shown it to me 3 straight years over a 6-7 year span overall, that he's a good coach, a proven coach. He can get guys in the portal, get them to buy in. I got JMU right there in my top 4 once again with the chance to win the regular season title. All right, let's hit an ad. We are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy over here at the College Experience. Great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. Available for a ton of sports. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you use our promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is crushing college football and NFL with picks and props. 8-2 in week 5 in the NFL, 5-0 in Dylan Gabriel, passing props in his debut, giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets on the same model, and you can win up to $1,000. Use our promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download the Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. We continue on the journey. Yes, I agree with Clark. They got NIL money.
And a lot.
That's why their roster is going to continue to be good. All right. Quantus White. Why the hell did I just say Quantus Smith? Quantus White, I'm going to be in on this hire because he is a Kelvin Sampson guy. I don't know if it's going to click year number 1. Quantus played for Kelvin Sampson at Oklahoma, if I'm correct. Yeah, Oklahoma 2001 to 2003. He was a GA for him. He's been in the Houston program for the last, 8-9 years. You know what I think of Houston's program? I think it's one of the best coach programs in America. He takes over Bob Marlin, who was there forever. I thought he got a short end of a deal, but good to see Quantus White get a gig here. I'm in on the hire long term. What do you think of the short term year number 1 under Quantus White? It kind of could be a culture year, as we saw with Kelvin Sampson at Houston.
Yeah, like you mentioned, associate head coach under Kelvin Sampson at Houston these past 2 seasons. He's regarded as a recruiter. I think that this team is relying on a lot of post kind of highly regarded, freshmen from the recruiting trail that possibly could have a new home, perform a little bit better with a little bit more roles. Because you're looking at Davion Laverne, didn't play last year for Purdue, Fort Wayne. He's probably in the starting 5 this year. Kyron Ratliff, who only played 19.5 minutes a season ago for Louisiana, probably starting for this team. Sean Elkington from Louisiana Tech, played 12 minutes a season ago per game. He's a 6'8" senior forward who's probably going to see a lot more time this year. Jamron Keller, who only played 21 minutes per game at Oklahoma State a season ago. He's a 6'1" junior guard who averaged 5.5 points per game. He's probably going to have a bigger role on this team. He did shoot the three ball at 33% on 3 attempts per game last season. You have Karis Bilal, who redshirted last year, his freshman year, but he was a former top 250 recruit. You've got a couple other former freshmen that didn't play a whole lot, and Jackson Olvera and Todd Jones. This team overall is, I think, a little bit young, lacks a little bit of experience on the floor, a couple of bets on a guys that maybe didn't pan out at their first destination. But with Quantas White and his recruiting chops, I'm sure he probably had eyes on him or eyes on some of these guys early on. And that's probably what you're hoping for with Louisiana in year one, because I think this is the bottom half finish, a team that I don't know what their identity is necessarily going to be outside of that grittiness, toughness from a Houston culture and Kelvin Sampson program that Quantas White's probably going to bring to Louisiana.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you don't have a whole lot of talent and you can't put the ball in the hoop, you're not going to win many games. So I think this is a talented roster, but at the same time, I don't know how they're going to necessarily get it done. And I'm not really bullish to run to the window and necessarily back them. So I have Louisiana in a bottom half finish in the Sun Belt this year. Mac, how are you feeling on a couple of these gambles in the transfer portal?
I mean, I trust White as a recruiter, right? His eye for talent. I agree with Clark. They got size. I mean, they got position versatility, it looks like, with a bunch of guys between 6'4" and 6'8", just like Houston does. I think, though, to play like Houston, it takes years and years. And they won't be Houston. I mean, that's that. If anybody could be Houston, then there would be a lot of teams that would try and play that way. There's only one Houston for that reason. But White will bring grit, toughness. This is a team I want to back in February when they get better and better throughout the year, because they won't quit on them. And I think they'll take their lumps in the non-con, trying to get their culture in place, sacrifice some games. But come conference play, I think they're going to be chippy. So I think the ceiling's middle of the pack. I think they could be around a 7-11 team in this league. So I have them in the bottom half, but come conference tournament, I'm not sure this is a team you want to play as an underseeded team. All right, the final first-year head coach, Phil Cunningham, coming over to coach UL Monroe. I am not that bullish on this hire. I'm not going to lie to you. He's a Rick Stansberry guy, so that I'm already kind of out when you say that Rick Stansberry name. They promoted within. He was there last year. Before that, like I said, he was at Western Kentucky for 5 years. He was the head coach at Troy, where he was 39-73 in the Sun Belt, 80-111 overall. I'm kind of surprised Monroe promoted within here. They're going to be in the basement for me again.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Cunningham was the interim coach last year. And yeah, they just stuck with him, which I don't necessarily know. That was the greatest decision. They went 3-15 in the conference last year, 7-25 overall. I don't know if it was a great tenure in Keith Richard to say, hey, let's stay within this branch at UL Monroe. There were not many high moments. And speaking of not many high moments, Phil Cunningham at Troy in the Sun Belt. He coached 6 years in this conference. He had just one winning season at 10-8 with the Trojans. That team won 10 of their last 13 games. It was a little bit of a sun run. They won the conference tournament. They represented the league in the big dance. But yeah, it was 500 season, one season where they finished above 500 for Cunningham at a program and athletic department that I think
way
has
better
more to provide than UL Monroe does.
Way more.
So this is another team that is going to rely on quite a few transfers. Lavelle Broadnex is a D2 transfer from Cameron, who averaged 14.5 points per game, 6 boards, 1.5 assists, shot at 53.5% from the floor. This is a guy that I think they're relying on offensively to be a big contributor for them. Defensively as well, he is a little bit more one of their scrappier defensive pieces in that backcourt. Micah Castor is a returner. Last year, as a freshman, he played 11.5 minutes a game a season ago. He averaged only 3.5 points, shot 38% from three, though. Martavius Russell is the big get in the transfer portal in that backcourt, a 6'3" redshirt junior from Mississippi State. Didn't get a whole lot of burn with the Bulldogs in his career there. And then Brente Noel, a Southern transfer, rounds out the D1 gets. They go into the JUCO portal for two guys. Christian Lewis, a 6'3" junior guard from Pearl River Junior College, averaged 15.5 points per game, 3.5 boards, and 4.5 assists. They're probably going to be using this guy as their point guard for quite a bit this season. And then Dylan Diaz, a JUCO recruit from Daytona State, averaged 11-3. If that's one of their big depth pieces off the bench in the guard position, I'm not quite sure how high to be on this group. Overall, UL Monroe, I think we're looking at the seller roster and coach of the league. Not a whole lot of things to look forward to this season for the Warhawks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't see how you can buy into this team not getting out of the cellar. Too many question marks, including at the coaching spot. A lot of boomer bust guys in the portal. JUCO guys. We'll wait and see, but I'm not high on this team.
I don't know if many people are.
No, I'd like to hear the case if you are. All right, let's go over to Marshall. Cornelius Jackson headed into year number 2. Last year was a successful first year, 20 wins, 12-6. Did a good job of continuing the momentum from D'Antoni in this program. Year number 2, what do we think here? He played there. He's one of their own. He's from Beckley, West Virginia, so he knows the state well. I like this hire, and I liked the first year what I saw.
Yeah, Marshall had a top 5 offense and defense last year in the Sun Belt in his first year at the helm. I'm expecting a little bit more of the same this year. 5 seniors are expected to play big minutes for the Thundering Herd this season. There's a mix of defense and offense. Jalen Spear is a big shooter. He returns last year after playing 29 minutes a season ago, shot 35% from deep on 6.5 attempts per game. And you've got some good defensive pieces like a Noah Bienick coming in from Western Ontario, who he's going to be relied on to be a main distributor on offense and guard probably the other team's best ball handler or shooter. I think he's going to be a pivotal piece for them this year. Wyatt Fricks returns and is probably going to get big minutes in the front court. He's a 6'10" redshirt senior, only played 12.5 minutes a season ago, but we'll see what happens with a little bit more run and leeway for Fricks. A really interesting piece comes in from Elon, Matthew Van Coleman. Last year, he only played 23 minutes a season ago for the Phoenix. I don't know how much they expect him to play this season for Marshall, but he's a 7'4" grad senior, played 23 minutes a game, averaged 6 and 8 for the Phoenix last year, and he was efficient when he did shoot. He didn't shoot it a ton, but when he got it in the paint, he was able to finish at 72%. And the rest of it, it's relying on growth and development through the program and a couple of Gillette Junior College transfers that were big-time scorers a season ago. Caleb Holenbeck averaged 16 points per game and 2.5 assists, 3 boards. Andrew Fuqua, a 6'8" forward, averaged 15.5 and 6.5. Marshall is a team that I have in the top half. I trust the program pedigree and the culture that has extended here under Cornelius Jackson. Last year, they came through as my sleeper. I predicted them to finish fifth. They finished fifth. This year, I think it would be a relative success if they finished fifth once again, because that's about the spot that I have.
I have middle of the pack. This is another super old roster. These teams are all old as shit. They in the Fun Belt, man, they love taking those former SEC and former Big 12 guys on these rosters. It's kind of like a last chance you type deal. So Marshall got good size. I like Jackson. Year 2, can they continue the momentum? We'll see. I got them in the middle of the pack, but I think they'll be above 500 or 500 or above in league play again.
Yeah, I forgot to mention one other guy. He's probably going to start too. Wilson Dubinsky shot 44.5% from 3 on 4 attempts per game at South Carolina State. So, yeah, that's one of your guys.
Oh, yeah. All right, the team with the most returning production. Mike Jones, year number 2 here. He is at his alma mater. Had a great run at DeMatha for what, 20 – how long was he at DeMatha? Yeah, he was there 20 years, 2002 to 2021. Played at Old Dominion from 91 to 95. He was there when they won the NCAA tournament game. 15-20 overall, 8-10 in league play. This guy knows how to win, man. I like the hire. We had him on the show. He's on the thumbnail. The Monarchs should be the team that takes a big step here in year 2, I think.
Yeah, 100%. They returned the most minutes out of any team a season ago. Mike Jones, like you mentioned, former Monarch, played at Old Dominion from 1991 to 95. He earned all CAA honors as a senior. Jones scored 19 points in ODU's triple overtime win in the 1995 NCAA tournament win over 3-seed Villanova. Mike Jones spent 19 seasons as the head coach of DeMatha High School before joining the Virginia Tech staff in 2021, becoming the head coach of Old Dominion last season. And there's some good continuity in this program, which you have to love, and you don't get a whole lot of that in the Sun Belt. Robert Davis Jr. is a 6'6 junior guard who played 35.5 minutes a season ago. He averaged 15.5 points, 2.5 boards, 2 assists, shot at 33% from deep on 10 attempts per game, which is outrageous. But this is one of the best players in the conference, possibly your player of the year in the preseason. Stephon Walker, a 6'7 senior forward, played 28 minutes a season ago, averaged 6.5 and 7. And then Caleb Swanton Roger, a 7-footer senior this season, played 20.5 minutes a game a season ago, averaged 5 and 5, and shot at 57% from the floor, averaging just under 2 blocks a game. A really solid defensive piece there. Not many better rim protectors in this conference than CSR. LJ Thomas is an Austin Peay transfer, played the point last year for the Governors, probably going to play the point when Robert Davis doesn't have the ball in his hands for the Monarchs this season. He's a 6'4 senior guard, played 31 minutes a game a season ago, averaged 14, 4.5 boards, 4 assists, over a steal per game as well, shot at 41.5% from the floor. Very good get in the portal there for Mike Jones and this Old Dominion roster. Kind of just plucked exactly what they needed and filled it out with a Jared Turner, a 6'8 junior forward from Northwestern, who didn't play a whole lot last year. Casey Shaw, who comes in from Maryland Eastern Shore, was their best player a season ago. Drew McKenna, a Georgetown transfer who only played 7.5 minutes a game during his sophomore year, but he's a 6'8 forward that could contribute pretty well here for ODU. And Jordan Battle, coming in from Coastal Carolina in conference, shot the 3-ball 42.5% on 5.5 attempts per game, averaged 13-4. This right here is my favorite roster, one of my favorite coaches in the league, a team that I want to jump in front of a train for when I'm predicting relatively positive outcomes for a lot of teams in this league. This team, I think, has set themselves apart from the rest.
I have them as a contender. I don't know if I have them winning it, but I agree. I love the returning production. I love Mike Jones. He's one of their own, man. He knows what it takes to win in the 757. He's got guys on his staff as well that are ODU guys, so they know how to win at ODU. They were chippy last year in year 1 with the way worse roster in year number 1. So I got him right there to continue. I definitely have him in my top 3, top 4 here with the chance to win the regular season. So stay tuned at the end. But yeah, Mike Jones was great at DeMatha for all those years. I know he had the best players, but he stepped into a situation where you're replacing the legend in Morgan Wooden. So to Clark's point. So yeah, he's going to continue to recruit well. He's maintaining the talent. Mike Jones is a perfect fit there in the 757. The longest tenured coach in the Sun Belt is Richie Riley, now headed into year number 8 down there in Mobile, Alabama. Last year, he won his first regular season title, got the share of it. I know they were picked off. They had hovered around 500 for like 4 years in a row prior to that. He did have a second place finish back in 2020. So last year was a nice breakthrough year, 21-11. He's 166 and 122 overall as a head coach, 70 and 55 in his 7 years in the Fun Belt. Do you think they take a step back off that really good team last year? They love the portal, and they've always loved these 5th-year guys, even before the guys were eligible immediately.
Yeah, I do think I have them taking a step back. Last year, they had the best defense in the conference. They have finished in the top 5 in the Sun Belt defensive efficiency on KenPom in 4 of Riley's 6 seasons in Mobile. But last year, a team that split a conference title finished 7th offensively, and I think this team isn't as good offensively as that team a season ago because of just quite a few more D2 NAIA JUCO portal gets that are gambles that I'm going to have to wait and see on. And this is the reason why we were probably caught off guard, and quite a few people were caught off guard. I think this team was picked last in the media poll last year and ended up winning the conference. You have Chase Harris, who doesn't shoot the 3 ball very well, but 58.5% from the floor, an NAIA transfer from Life University. He's a 6'6" senior point guard, averaged 7 assists a game, 6.5 boards, 19.5 points per game. How that translates, I want to be bullish, but again, he sounds like a guy that's going to be kind of left out on the perimeter and be dared to shoot the 3 ball, and we'll see how that works out. Hans Louis June, probably didn't pronounce that right either, is another D2 transfer expected to play big minutes. A 6'5" grad senior, played 28 minutes a season ago for D2 Lenore Rhine. He did shoot the 3 ball 35.5%, shot at 50% from the floor, played 28 minutes a game, averaged 13.5 and 5 with over 2 assists per game as well. And then Stephen Williams, a 6'9" forward, as a freshman last year at Coastal Alabama, averaged 16.5 and 8 with 2 blocks a game. He's going to be another main contributor for this team from the JUCO ranks. And then other incoming transfer portal gets Brian Hawthorne, a 6'2" guard from D2 Rockhurst, played 32 minutes a game, averaged 15, 5.5, and 4.5. Peyton Law, a 6'7" senior forward from NAIA Freed Hardman, played 29 minutes a game season ago, averaged 16 points, 6.5 boards, shot the 3 ball 39.5%, was 60.5% from the floor total. And then Adam Olson, a 6'8" junior forward, averaged 15 and 4 at University of British Columbia there in Canada. Those portal gets are kind of supplementing a core that they have returning from a season ago. Maxwell Land and John Broom are the 2 returning starters. Land averaged 10 and 3.5. Again, not one of their better offensive pieces a season ago. A lot of his production came from the line. And John Broom, a 6'5" junior guard, played 28.5 minutes a season ago. His best, tangible is rebounding. Really good rebounding guard there, and did shoot 38% from the floor or from 3 a season ago, but only averaged 5.5 points, 5.5 boards in that 28.5 minutes. So he's going to have to stuff the stat sheet a little bit more this season. And Randy Brady played 18.5 minutes a season ago. JJ Wheat played 19.5 minutes a season ago. Those 2 are both senior guards that will have an opportunity in this offense to possibly up that minute usage a little bit this season. And then Jaden Cooper only played 13 minutes a season ago. He took quite a few threes last year, didn't hit them at a great clip. So we'll see what he's got up his sleeve this season. But South Alabama is a team that I'm going to have in the middle because I'm not going to get caught like last year. I think I projected them 12th when rewatching that show. There are definitely some avenues where you can see this team having quite some success if a lot of these NAI or D2 or JUCO portal gets hit. But again, bringing in the sheer amount that they do, they're relying on them a little bit more than I'd like. How do you feel about Richie Riley's group next?
I think they're going to be closer to what they were the previous 2 years, middle of the pack. But I think Riley's a good coach. I think he's grown into a pretty good coach there, winning the league last year. But they're like I said, they hit on all those guys last year in the portal. It's hard to hit on all those guys back-to-back years. So I think the roster is not as good as last year. I don't think they're as big and tough as they were last year. So I will say middle of the pack, step back, but I still think that they'll be in the mix come tourney time. All right, Jay Ladner over there at Southern Miss. They won the Sun Belt 3 years ago, 25-win season. That was a magical year, but it's been a wrong trajectory of this program, and that's what happens when you bring Andre Carabello into your program. So, it's not rocket science here. 152 with 199. He was good at SELA. That got him the Southern Miss job. What do you think of this program? This feels like they're heading in the wrong direction. Ladner's more of a throwback guy.
Yeah, I do think that they're also not on your ideal program trajectory.
Yeah.
I've been bullish on this team in the preseasons, not last year, but like the previous 2 seasons, and have gotten burned with Southern Miss. I just think that Ladner's heading in the wrong direction. And this year, totally clean slate, only one returner, their 7-footer, Tigra Eze, who only played 9.5 minutes a season ago. But this is a brand new roster here for Southern Miss. A lot of it junior college bandits and a couple of transfers down, a couple of NAI transfers. It's a big time like blue chip JUCO portal class.
Yeah.
You have the 8th ranked portal grab in Isaac Taveras, a 6'6" junior wing from South Plains Junior College, who's ranked 8th by JUCOrecruiting.com, averaged 16.5 points per game, 8.5 boards, 2.5 assists. He'll be like one of their better pieces in that backcourt alongside Shiante Tramble. Last year, he was a freshman for Independence Junior College. He's rated the 20th best JUCO get. He averaged 23.5 points per game, 4 boards, and 5 assists. And then Tyleek Weeks, a 6'7" junior forward. He was rated 26th out of the JUCO transfer portal at Southwest Mississippi College. Averaged 21 points, 8.5 boards, 4 assists. You have a NAI transfer from William Carey, Dylan Brumfield, a 6'4" senior guard who averaged 16 and 5 with 4.5 assists per game, shot at 51% from the floor. Israel Hart, a D2 transfer from Central Oklahoma, averaged 17, 3.5, and 4, shot at 38% from deep. Falou Diagne, a 6'11" redshirt senior, coming in from Western Kentucky. He redshirted last year. Dahi Bennett, an Alcorn State transfer, 6'7" grad senior forward who shot at 55% from the floor, averaged 9.5 and 7.5 in the SWAC last year. Robert Coward, a 6'5" redshirt junior who barely saw the floor at Ole Miss last season. IJ Uzuma from South Plains Junior College as well, averaged 9 and 5.5 as a 6'8" redshirt junior forward. EJ Payman, redshirted his first year at Mississippi State. Chandler Watts, a 6'6" wing who at Eastern Florida State last year averaged 9 and 4 in his freshman year. Felipe Patino is a sophomore as well from Eastern Florida State. He averaged 9.5 and 4.5 his freshman year. You've also got Dylan Braden, a Southern Miss red shirt last year, who's a 6'5" grad guard. Just throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. A lot of these guys were stars, which I never like that approach in the transfer portal because now you've got to mold them all into one team. You got to figure out some roles. I'm not high on the Southern Miss team once again, but there are a lot of previous alphas is what I like to say, and we'll see who steps up as they go-to guys, and we'll see who gets ultimate, like at the end of the day, who's the upset pieces on the roster that's going to bring down team morale or whatever. So Southern Miss, I have them in the bottom half. Hopefully they avoid train wreck, but we'll see what happens with the Golden Eagles this year.
I'm pulling for them because I want them to win without Curbelo, but I don't know how I buy into this team. There's a lot unknown, a lot of moving pieces here. I mean, Ladner's done it before, but I don't like the trajectory of this program. 25 to 16, down to 11. They're better than Monroe, I'll tell you that, but I have them at the bottom part of this league. All right, Texas State, baby. The Bobcats, Terrence Johnson headed into year number 6 now. Been an okay tenure. They did win the regular season in 21-22, but since then, 11th place, 10th place, 7th place. So they've kind of bottomed out a little bit over the last 3 years in the portal era. 46 and 38 in his 5 years in league play, 88 and 68 overall. He was an assistant there for 5 years prior to that. So I kind of think his seat's a little bit warm after 3 straight mediocre years.
Yeah, they are kind of your epitome of a middle of the pack 500 team. Last year, offensively, they were really good. Defensively, really bad. Yeah. Other seasons, they're kind of middle of the pack in both. Leaning more of a offensive-minded program. However, this year, really trying to kind of beef up that defense. They've added 2 guys that have been really feisty on the back end. Jalen Bolden, Kendall Davis. Both of those guys are Louisiana transfers, Louisiana or Louisiana Monroe. Jalen Bolden coming from Monroe, Davis from the Ragin' Cajuns. Bolden has some more offense to his game. Not a very efficient scorer, but he averaged 13 and 6 last year with 2.5 assists per game. Kendall Davis, a little bit less offensively that he's going to give you, but he did play a lot less than Bolden. Mekhi Willis is the other UL Monroe transfer on this roster. He's a 6'8" senior forward who played 30 minutes a game, averaged 10 and 7, shot at 46% from the floor, 36.5% from 3, can step out and give you a 3 every once in a while. Those 3 are going to play big minutes alongside the 2 returners on this team, returning starters, I should say. Caden Gums, the point guard, averaged 4 assists, 3.5 boards, 11 points per game, shot the 3 ball 37%, 46% from the floor. And Mark Drone, a 6'2" senior guard who played 25.5 minutes a season ago. He averaged 11.5 points per game, shot at 31% from 3 on 2.5 attempts. We've got Tay Knox filling in probably some bench minutes in that front court, a 6'9" senior transfer from Western Illinois. He played 18 minutes a season ago, shot at 49.5% from the floor. Cameron Simpson's a 6'7" redshirt from UCF. He'll be entering his first year of college basketball this year with Texas State. A UMBC transfer from he redshirted last year, Frank Amu, a UT Rio Grande transfer, Isaiah Barnganye. He's a 6'7" senior. Jalen Lee, a 6'8" redshirt junior, is a Texas A&M transfer. And then 2 transfers from Jones Junior College, Kai Purnell and Dimp Purnell. They will probably fill in a little bit in that backcourt as some depth. But overall, I think this is going to have to be more of a Iron 5, which also concerns me because the Louisiana schools were not good last year. Mm-hmm. I have this team finishing in the bottom half with a little bit more defensive potential, but a lot less pop on the offense for the Bobcats this season.
I mean, last year they finished, 9-9 in league play, 7th. Year before that, 10th. I kind of think it's more the same. I think they're in that 8 to 10 range here, just because I like some of these other teams better and just trust the continuity more. They are in the middle of the pack or slightly on the top half of returning production and also experience, but I don't know. This program up and down for me so far with the Bobcats and Terrence Johnson the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'm writing down like the note that I want to mention when we do our standings prediction. I didn't say this word for word, but I'll just say it now before we move on. Just this transfer portal class comes in like a lot of these guys from non-winning programs, so that's why I'm like not as high.
Agree.
On this group.
Agree. A winning program, the Troy Trojans. Scott Cross replaced Phil Cunningham. Since then, he's built it up. His first 2 years, he went a combined 9-27 when the program was not in a good spot. So throw that out. He's 56-50. So if you throw out those first 2 years, he's what? 47-23 in league play, 4th place, 5th place, 3rd place, and he wins the league last year, wins the conference tournament. This guy's a good coach. They're over 300 wins overall. He got screwed at UT Arlington. That was a joke. He was 225 at 161. He had won the regular season title the year before. He finished 4th. This guy's a flat-out good basketball coach. Never had a losing season at UT Arlington in his 10 years there. 2 years to rebuild Troy. 4 straight 20-win seasons for the Trojans. They'll be in the hunt because he's coach of the team.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the 4 straight winning seasons in those 4 straight years, 4 straight top 3 defenses in the league. That is the identity of this team. Really good defense. And in the 2 years of those 4 that they've had, like, top half offenses, they've had really, really good years. So Troy Trojans, they're a team that's going to rely on some improvement in player development within their program. Scott Cross has shown that time and time again. Last year, I believe the player of the year in this conference was Tayton Conaway, and he was like a red-shirted guy in their program, a 5th-year guy or whatever. Like, he was just sitting there marinating for a little bit with the Trojans, and then last year completely broke out. You've got some Campbell brothers here, Cooper and Kobe, going to play big minutes in that backcourt. Cooper played 16.5 minutes a season ago. Kobe didn't play last season. I think it was due to injury, but he had a pretty good junior college year in 2024. Victor Valdez played 17 minutes a game a season ago, and Thomas Dowd played 25.5 minutes a season ago. Both of those guys returning in this backcourt. Dowd was a big-time contributor, averaged 9.5 and 7. Did shoot quite a bit from 3, 30% on 4.5 attempts there. So probably a little bit more of that 5-out offense with Javier Gilgis Glasgow kind of filling in the role as the ball handler here. Averaged 4.5 assists a season ago, and he went to school at
who are you asking about? Dowd?
No, Javier Gilgis Glasgow. I'm looking that up real quick. I didn't write that down. He comes in from Canada. The TMU in Canada. It's like an academy, it looks like. But this is probably going to be more of a distributor point guard around some returning pieces for this offense in Troy. And they've got a pretty good defensive backcourt. Pretty good defensive front court in Valdez and Dowd. Carrington Keel is a 6'5" sophomore who only played 8 minutes a season ago, but he's also going to fill in quite a bit, offer some positional size for the Trojans this season. And Corbin Green is the portal get for them comes in from Texas Tech. Didn't get a whole lot of burn last season, but has played before in college at Air Force. So we'll see what he can give Troy. Theo Song and Jarrell Bellamy kind of round out the rotation here of guys that are probably going to produce in some form or fashion for Troy. How? I'm not necessarily the one to predict that, but the two big pieces I think here for you offensively, Thomas Dowd, defensively, Victor Valdez and Dowd, and the Canadian transfer Javier, just call him JGG, Javier Gilgis Glasgow. I think they're relying a lot on him to be their ball distributor and handler. But Troy, they're going to be probably top 5 and possibly title contender. It depends on how much Scott Cross is going to get out of this group, Mac.
He'll make him a contender. He always has him contending. 4 straight 20-win seasons. They'll win 20 a game. I got him in my top 4 as well. Trust the continuity. I know they lost the Rigsby brothers in Connerway, but they reload. They got some of their role guys back, and I trust him to continue the momentum of this program off of last year. All right, and they have an identity. They defend. Identity equals winning. College basketball isn't that complicated. Sometimes we make it overcomplicated. If you got an identity, you got a shot to win. Tell you who does not have an identity, and that's UL Monroe, and that's why they're 14th for me.
Yep, I agree.
At 13, Southern Miss. Sorry, Jay Ladner.
13, I'm going to go Coastal Carolina.
Oh, wow. We have a difference in that one. At 12, I got Georgia State.
12, I'm going Southern Miss.
At 11, I got the Raging Cajuns year number 1 there for Kiwanis.
I'm going to go with Louisiana.
To co-sign. At number 10, I got Terrence Johnson and the Texas State Bobcats. I said there, 8 to 10 range.
I will go with Georgia State. Kind of relying on a lot of unproven production for the offense there, and the defense has never been amazing. So, under Jonas.
At number 9, this is where I got Coastal. I think they take a step here, man. I trust Gray as a coach. I think they get into that middle of the pack range.
At 9 is where I'm going to stick Texas State. Just bringing in a lot of transfers from non-winning programs. A couple of guys that they expect to start from, UL Monroe and Louisiana, who didn't have great seasons last year, and I just don't have a whole lot of expectations for that team.
Okay. At number 8, I have the Marshall Thundering Herd. Slight step back from last year, but I think they're around 500 in this league this year under Cornelius Jackson year 2.
A little bit more of a step back for me on the South Alabama prediction here. Lack a little bit of offensive pop, relying on a new young front court. I've got South Alabama at 8.
I got Richie Riley in South Alabama at 7. Like you said, a lot of moving parts here. They won the league last year, but I think they take a step back and they're more 500 like they were previous couple of years.
So I'm going to go with Arkansas State 7th. Really young depth. Not quite sure what their identity is under Pannone yet. So I trust that he comes from a pretty good coaching tree that we've seen already work at Arkansas State before with Hodgson, but I'm going to go 7th. That was as high as I could put the Red Wolves.
Okay, at number 6, I got Charlie Henry taking a step here. They went from 8th to 7th last year. They go to 6th in year 3 here.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia Southern as well. Really good shooting team. I think there are some better defensive pieces because that's been their kind of bugaboo under Henry. so far. So yeah, I got both Alabama assistants here at 6 and 7.
I got the other Alabama assistant that you touched on. I got Pannone, Ark State, the Red Wolves at 5. Hodgson finished, I think, 4th his first year. I don't think they're as good as that team, but I got him in the top 5. This is a good program and I trust the hire. I trust the Nate Oates tree. They've come through so far. So yeah, I'll trust another Nate Oates guy here to finish top 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with James Madison at 5. For me, I don't necessarily love the roster, but I have trust in Preston Spradlin. Also, this athletic department, they've just done a lot of winning recently. They've just got to iron out some roles on this team and this roster. And I think this is a team that I'll be looking to back come February and March a little bit.
Okay. At number 4, Dustin Kerns returned to the top 4 in this league. Last year was a rebuilding year. He still finished with the over 500 record. All this guy does is win. He'll get the Mountaineers back into the top 4 in Boone, North Carolina.
I've got Marshall 4th. Really experienced roster. They've got some program pedigree. Year 2, we'll see how well Cornelius does here at Marshall.
At number 3, I got the Trojans of Troy. Scott Cross. The roster is not as good as it was last year with all those guys leaving, but they guard. They have an identity just like App State. Those 2 programs were always going to be in the top 4 for me just because of their pedigree and identity. So App State 4 and Troy 3 for me.
At 3, I'm going to go Troy as well. Overall, a roster that doesn't have a whole lot of proven production, but I trust Scott Cross and the development within his program that's turning out to be very good over the last couple of years. So I got Troy 3rd.
So at 2 and 1, I got the 2 Virginia schools. At number 2, I got Mike Jones and the Old Dominion Monarchs. I think they're going to take a big step here. I think they're going to be right there. I think we'll probably have a tie for first place, full transparency. So I think that they will share the regular season title, be in one of those buys. We may get a four-way tie with Troy and App State as well, but I'll go for the exercise. I'll go Old Dominion 2, and then I'll get Preston Spradlin, 4 straight league championships at 2 different schools. JMU, I know it's a somewhat new roster, but all they do is reload with all that money in the NIL and portal that they got. JMU 1, ODU 2 for me. The state of Virginia is owning the Sun Belt here.
2, rounding out a group that I don't feel overly confident, 2 through 7. I'm going to go Appalachian State. Trust in Dustin Kerns. I think it's a really good defensive group once again. I think there's a little bit more offensive pop to this roster. I really like that backcourt. The one hole here, if I was poking one, would be the front court depth. But I like the program. I think it's got really good trajectory right now. Give me the Mountaineers at 2. And the team that I just kind of fell in love with from the get-go, a team that I thought, yeah, this team is going to be really good next year. Last year was Old Dominion under Mike Jones. To me, they've just got a little bit of everything. Like a really solid head coach, really good offense, really good defense, a lot of shooting, some rim protection. I think the Monarchs a lot this year. I think this is my boldish prediction. Boldish, not so boldish, whatever. I think they sweep. I think they win the Sun Belt regular season. I think they win the tournament and go dancing.
Okay. Who do I want to pick to win it? Troy won it last year over Ark State. Give me Pannone in year 1 to win the conference tournament. Hodgson never won it. Pannone wins it. Hodgson went to back-to-back title games. Yeah, he went to back-to-back title games and lost both years. Ark State gets it done. Three straight appearances in the title game. They win it this year. I got the Red Wolves dancing year 1 of Ryan Pannone.
I just looked it up. I don't think the Sun Belt media poll or coaches poll has come out yet. There's starting to become more and more of these rolling out. I see every day on Twitter, but I don't have one for the Sun Belt. So how about this? For sleeper and bust, we can do like outside of the top 5. So they were all one game within each other. Arkansas State, Troy, South Alabama, James Madison, Marshall is that top tier. Who out of them has the lowest floor, and who outside of them has the highest ceiling?
Lowest floor, I think, is South Alabama, just because that's a completely new roster. And Richie Riley had the 1 year. I need to see it another year.
I'm going to agree with you on that, and then I'm going Old Dominion for the sleeper because I have them sweeping.
My sleeper will be App State.
I like it.
I
like it.
I mean, Kerns.
Yeah, honestly, that one might have
I don't even know
a
if it's
higher floor than ODU.
Yeah.
There's more proven in that process at App State than ODU yet. So
we know he's going to win. It's all he does. So
yeah.
All right, man. Well, that does it for the Fun Belt. What was this? I think this was number 12. So we got 19 to go.
Yeah, something like that. This was honestly, I love the Sun Belt. I hate like kind of reading though, like just going through all those transfer portal rosters. This is like one of my least favorite previews, most fun conferences to watch.
Great coaches in this league. Like I said, a lot of guys,
really mixed bag for me. Like there's true tiers, I think.
Yeah,
guys that I like, guys that it's an easy prediction for me.
Guys like Spradlin, Cross, Kerns.
Those
guys are going to be future high major coaches.
You might agree with me on this, but Southern Miss, Coastal, UL Monroe, clear bottom tier on everything.
Yeah.
Louisiana, not a whole lot bullish in year one of that new regime, and then just a couple of guys that haven't done it over year after year at South Alabama, Texas State, Georgia State, Arkansas State, new head coach, and then you get that top tier of James Madison, Marshall, Troy, App State, and then Old Dominion's the big wild card that I'm bought all the way in, but that's year 2 of a new regime too. So it's like I think for the most part, this conference didn't need an hour and a half, but the rosters was like the biggest thing was like there's so many new pieces here.
That's why when I knew that we only had 2, I was like, this is going to be a long preview no matter what, just because of the Fun Belt's the Fun Belt, just like the MAC. So, FCS college experience coming up later tonight. Check your notifications, probably after the college football game. So stay tuned. And we will be back probably Monday with college hoops. We'll start cranking out more doubleheaders. I mean, we're going to have to start mapping this out, but we'll get them all in. We always do.
I think right now we're on pace. If we're going to do 5 or 6 a week, that puts us right at like the remaining 15 or 16 that we have left to finish it the final week.
We'll crank out some more 2-a-days here. So make sure you subscribe to all the channels. College baseball experience, college hockey experience as well. Noah's knocking out some slide picks.
Not officially called the college hockey experience yet.
I'm calling it that.
We're not throwing it under the branch yet. Just the YouTube channel with like 2-minute videos. Friday Night Ice.
just take the compliment, jackass. So go check out all Noah Bienick's work over at NoahB77_. I'm at Moneyline_Mac. We'll see you guys here in a little bit. College football is kicking off. We got Tulane and ECU just started. Louisiana Tech and Kennesaw. Georgia Southern and Southern Miss. Yeah, there's some Fun Belt action. And Sam Houston, Jack State. So great night on the gridiron in college football. Make sure you go check out all our episodes out there. So, this is the college basketball experience. He's Noah Bienick. I'm Moneyline Mac. We are the college experience, and we are out of here. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your Thursday. ECU went 3 and out. Cha-cha-cha. Colby's throwing shit, probably. Damn, Louisiana Tech football. Really. Phillies Dodgers 0-0.